let's paint this plant. And how are we gonna do this? Because this is really tricky. You know, there's so much stuff and there's so much detail on this plant. It's kind of hard to know where to start. But why don't I start by putting my glasses on? That'll help. Oh yeah, that does help. Let's make a sketch of it. Let's make a little sketch in grayscale first, before we get into color, because then it's gonna get real. Like, how do you manage all of this chaos? And what I can see though is that we can sort of like combine some of the groups of leaves into clumps. So, you know, instead of looking at an area with like 20 leaves on it, we can sort of simplify it into one big blob. So we'll paint blobs of leaves and stay away from looking at individual leaves, at least for now. Yeah, so if you look at it like blobs, we can sort of draw the simple shapes and do that first, and then start to break it down into smaller shapes. Well, you see the way that the plant is lit also. The sun is kind of behind part of it. And when they're backlit, it means they're lit transmissively. You see, some of the leaves are kind of dark, and they're contrasted against bright things. And these leaves here on the top are bright, and they're contrasted against dark. It's because the way this plant is lit is it's backlit. So these leaves at the top here are being lit transmissively, whereas the ones at the bottom are lit reflectively. So reflected light just bounces off of something, and it'll get into my eyeball that way. But transmission is a kind of light behavior where light goes through something and it gets to my eye that way. So these are two different types of interaction with the sun. Who is this? Hold on. Excuse me. Who's calling me? Hello? This is Jason. Hi. No, I can't. I don't have time right now. I'm kind of in the middle of making an internet movie. Yes, about painting. Yeah, I'm painting this flower right now. First, I'm doing a sketch of it, and then I'm going to try to paint this flower in acrylic. And it's nuts. Like, you should see this flower. It's just like there's leaves everywhere, and it's very tricky. I know, yeah. It's like where do you start? Exactly. Well, you see how the leaves at the top, oh, you can't see it, but the leaves at the top are really bright. And I was just saying that they're lit transmissively. What does that mean? Well, like when we look at the world, we're not seeing objects directly. We're just seeing interaction of light with physical materials. And the way the light interacts is what gives us an image. So the transmissive stuff, yeah, the light goes through it. So a material that has a transmissive quality, has to be translucent. Yeah, because the light has to get through it. So if you have something really opaque, like a rock or a baseball, it's totally solid. Light can't go through it. Light can only reflect off of it. So if I'm looking at a baseball, I'm only seeing it by means of reflection. And a lot of these leaves, the leaves on the bottom, are lit reflectively. So there's light bouncing off of them. And as we get into color, we'll start to see that there's a different hue and a different level of saturation that comes with transmission or reflection. Yeah, so like a leaf is transmissive. Yeah, so I hold a leaf up to the light and I see light going through it. I'm seeing the transmission of that light. Now, if I look at it this way, then the light that interacts with this leaf is only getting to my eye by means of a bounce or a reflection. And so anything that's sort of translucent is transmissive. Grass, transmissive. Clouds, paper can be transmissive. Cheese? Sure. Yeah, I guess, yeah, cheese is transmissive. If it's thin, a thin piece of cheese. A pizza. Yeah, a pizza. Well, here, imagine this. So if you pick up a slice of pizza and there's like cheese that's like stretching on it, and you have a light that's behind it, okay, you follow? Then the thin strands of cheese will probably allow some light to transmit through it. But the thicker strands of cheese probably would not. So the quality of that transmission depends somewhat on the density of the object. And that's why a pizza is transmissive, correct. Hot dog? I don't know if I'd say so. I think a hot dog is pretty opaque. I wouldn't expect to see any transmission on a hot dog. I would hope not. I would not want to eat a transmissive hot dog. No, I would not be into that. Right. Well, see, the flower pot is fully opaque. So we are seeing no action of transmission on the flower pot itself. Only on the things that are thin enough to allow light penetration. So the leaves, maybe some of the sticks, but the hard ceramic of the flower pot, as you can see, or you can't see, but that's solid, so light can't go through it. Oh yeah, I mean, there's so many, transmission is all around us. Yeah, like think of a jellyfish. Like a jellyfish is transmissive. If you hold up a jellyfish to the sun, or if you shoot a laser through a jellyfish, you'll see that light will go through it quite easily. Yeah. Oh, I'm always shooting lasers through jellyfish. You have to do that when you're learning how to paint. Jelly is transmissive. Yes, I suppose jelly would be transmissive. If you hold it up to the sun, I guess you would see some light through it. Let's see. See, I have this jar of jelly right here. This is my family's jelly that I have as part of our still life. Yeah, that's our business. Yeah, we make jelly. This is an old one. We don't make jelly anymore. We haven't made jelly in like 75 years, but we make painting videos now, but we're still around. Anyway, this is totally opaque. So I don't know what's up with that. Maybe this jelly lost its transmission a long time ago. That's a little disturbing. So let's forget about that. So the light behavior of transmission can unlock a unique color in a material. And you can see it in these leaves. Well, right, you can't see it, but believe me, you can see it in the leaves, that the leaves that I can see that are lit reflectively are duller and a bit bluer. And the ones that are lit transmissively are super bright, really saturated, and more yellow. And so that's a unique color for this particular light interaction. Yeah, the leaves don't have a fixed color. The color of the leaves, the perceived color of the leaves comes from context. Because remember, it's not the leaf we see, it's the light that has interacted with the leaf is what we're seeing. After the light interacts with the leaves via reflection or transmission or whatever, that light now carries the signature of that material to your eye. Also, I can see on some of these leaves, some of them are kind of bright, like they have like a white sort of highlight on them. And those leaves are also lit reflectively, but they're at a particular narrow angle between me and the sun. Yeah, so at just the perfect flat angle between me and the sun, that light is going to reflect directly into my eye. And the leaves are kind of smooth. So if you catch them from the right angle, I'll just see like a perfect white reflection of the sun. And that's what it is, it's a reflection of the sun. With all the leaves, when you think about it, the color of the leaves are telling you what their position is in space, right? Because the bright green leaves are backlit, which means they have to be at a certain angle between me and the sun. So that angle corresponds to that color. And then the reflective leaves, the kind of bluish ones, which are darker and more muted and a bit bluer, those have to be at a different angle. They have to be at an angle where we don't see the transmission, we only see the reflective quality. And then we have the really bright white ones, and we know that those have to be at a certain angle as well in order to catch that reflection. And that's sort of the logic of it, because you know when you see that white highlight, the leaf can only really be in one angle in order to receive that. And if you know the position of the sun, if you're mindful of that, when you see that highlight, you know exactly the angle of the leaf as well. Yeah, so that becomes the shorthand. We start to simplify it based on some of those parameters. What do you think? Right, you can't see it. Oh, by the way, what were you calling about originally? A what? Oh, no, you have the wrong number. All right. I think we're just about done here. Why don't we varnish this? And I think we're done.